What's up, Mortgage Coach community? Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach, and today I am with Jason Frazier. What's up, Jason?
How's it going, babe?
Going good, man. So I am loving what you are bringing to the Mortgage Coach community, what you're bringing to the whole mortgage industry. I mean, it's just super clear that you're a servant to the space and you want to see referral-based local loan officers and realtors kill it in the future. It's just obvious how much you love the industry.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I follow you, one of your Facebook groups. I know you've got a couple of them. Which one is the one that's public and available to everyone?
Yeah, so I founded a group called the Snapback Live Real Estate Group. It's marketing and social media. There's a lot of agents, a lot of loan officers in there. That's my public group. And then I have a private coaching group, which is a paid group, and that's the Agent Marketer. You could go check that out at theagentmarketer.com.
Well, it's definitely one of the places where I go to get smarter. So thanks for creating, there's so much noise out there, whether it's content, but there's certain stuff where it's like, okay, I read this. It's part of my stuff, part of my read. And then, you also are an active contributor in our Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind group. So thank you for the value you bring to that group. I appreciate it. So I wanted to interview you because this weekend I was working on a LinkedIn article that talked about how loan officers have to go from playing checkers to playing chess. Mm-hmm. And it just so happens you also made a post on Facebook saying you don't have as much time as you think you have. Yeah. And I was like, all I could think of is really you were speaking my language, and I wanted to bring this into the Mortgage Coach community in a very intentional way. So here we are. So I don't necessarily, if you want to just repeat that 7-minute rant you had, I'm okay with that. Okay. But I know you're also really familiar with our community and you're familiar with our message. So if you could just bring that message into the Mortgage Coach community of local referral-based loan officers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I appreciate it. And yes, it by all means was a rant, and you guys could check it out. It's on my business Facebook page. It's on LinkedIn. If you guys follow me on LinkedIn, you guys maybe have heard it already. I actually did that as a flash briefing, which is on, I'll call her Lexi because she's listening in the background. But I did that as a flash briefing. And what prompted it is just things that I'd been seeing over the last week, conversations I've been having with loan officers and agents, but mostly loan officers, and also seeing what's going on in your group, which actually there's a lot of special stuff happening. And guys, if you're in the Mortgage Coach group, I don't know if you guys understand, like a lot of the stuff that Dave's giving away for free, and then like the guests coming in, and especially like the seller buy down, like these are like people could take these courses and charge like $100 for them, $500 for them, do a workshop on the stuff, and you guys are getting this stuff for free. And the reason why that kind of just, the more I think about it, the more I get worked up, is because not enough people are taking the time that are all the thought leaders, everything that's happening right now, to actually use this stuff to help your business. And the reason why is you guys do not have the time that you think you do. There's a lot of you out there, you've been in the business for 20 years, 10, 15, 20 years or whatever. You've lived the last 10 years in a bull market, and you think like, oh, this is just the cycle and we're going to go back and things aren't always going to be the way they are now. You guys are absolutely crazy. This is a shift. And by a shift, I'm not talking like the market has shifted, like, oh, we have prices and stuff like that. I'm talking about stuff that has nothing to do with mortgage or real estate. I'm talking the fact that as a culture, as a society, we have shifted because you have a convergence of things that we've never seen before in the history of our life. We just haven't. So unless you were around during the Industrial Revolution, and guess what? You weren't. But if you were, that's the only time that we've had any type of shift that we have now. Technology, culture, social media, demographics, the normal way barriers of demographics have been just blown apart. People are getting aged down by technology and social media. And so if you think that the way that you used to do business is going to always be effective just because if it's not broke, don't fix it, you are crazy. You do not have the time. What happens and what always happens is that you'll end up being reactive. And so when you start really seeing like, okay, I'm not getting the business, right? I'm not getting these things. I'm not doing what I should be doing. I'm not getting the meetings. I'm not doing the loans. Then you react to it. And then you go out and, oh, okay, how do I do this quickly? How do I fill my pipeline? You go and buy leads, right? Which if you don't know, leads are long nurture, right? That's not going to fill your pipeline. It will fill your prospects, but it's not going to fill your pipeline and any ROI tangible, right? It's just not going to happen, right? But if you understand what's happening and understand what's going to be happening for the next, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. I'm talking about 5 years, guys. This is the foreseeable future. What's happening now is only going to get, if however you're looking at it, worse as far as conditions, is that you need to be proactive about being reactive. So imagine that all that stuff happens when you actually react. Imagine that happening today. Imagine it happening today, and then be proactive. And whatever you would do to react to that, do it now, right? So go out and start a blog today. Go do a podcast today. Go out and do flash briefings today. Focus on personal branding today. Go learn Facebook ads today. Understand that the way that you used to do business is becoming less and less effective. And I'm talking about getting the business, right? And it doesn't matter if it's rates. It doesn't matter what your service. None of that matters if you don't have my attention as a consumer. None of that matters if I don't know who you are. None of that matters if I can't find you online. You got to understand the world we're living in. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this, and Dave was right when he called it a rant, is because I want to see people succeed. I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of you that are not going to survive this. You will not be a loan officer in the next 3 years. You will not, unless you decide to adapt your business. I grew up in this industry. I was born into this industry. And when I say I was born into this industry, I literally was in my baby carrier on the desk of my mom as she was working at the mortgage company 3 days after I was born. So when I say that I've been brought up in this industry, I have, right? I have a passion for this, and I don't want to see anyone lose their jobs, right? But I'll tell you, and Dave mentions this all the time, is that technology is not going to replace loan officers, but loan officers that don't adapt and use technology to increase their business and actually reimagine their business will be gone. And you guys won't be around anymore. And you know what? That's why when I tell loan officers, I'm not worried about what the production numbers are. I'm not worried about what the MBA says the forecasts are for refis or purchase. You know why? Is because only 10% are actually going to execute on this. And it's true across, how many self-help books are, how many videos are there, how many things do you need to watch before you decide that you need to execute on these things to make them happen, right? And if you did, then no one would be having any problems, right? Everyone would be getting as much business as they need. If you guys were executing on all the videos and all the tactics that Dave shows here in the mortgage coach community, you'd be doing it.
So guys, first of all, I recommend you listen to Jason's message. I'm going to show a couple slides because as I was listening to it, I wanted to connect the dots around just some facts that are happening here. These are some things that I took away from the Digital Mortgage Conference, where I was one of the speakers at it. And one thing that's super clear, and this, by the way, this is good news and bad news, is that it used to be that the real estate agent completely owned the home buyer, but that has changed. And that shift that Jason's talking about is this, where the home buyer, through the digital experience, they can control how they get a mortgage, who they get a mortgage coach or a mortgage from. So this is the shift. The consumer is the captain of the wealth team. They get to pick who they do business with. And let's face it, that battle is being waged on their mobile phone. So this is more important than ever that you're able to execute, show up. I'm going to go through a few key concepts. This is what I know for sure. I know a couple years ago, this is what the competitive landscape looked like. It was basically big banks, mortgage bankers, credit unions, and mortgage brokers. That was who was going after. And again, builders, there was a few others. But today, it has just blown up. Literally, this category right here didn't even exist a few months ago. And now, Redfin, Keller, Zillow, all have mortgage companies. This category right here, Open Door, OfferPad, totally new player to the market. Let's face it, mortgage brokers expanding, in this just a couple of years ago, I think they were less than 10%. I think maybe less than 6%. And just about everybody's predicting that model to get bigger. So more people are going after the customer. And Jason, tell me if you agree with this. the concept that rate shopping is going to slow down or we're in the eye of this storm. Do you think now that Zillow owns a mortgage company, it's going to get easier to rate shop on a mobile app? I mean, what do you think, Jason?
Absolutely. And the thing is that with one of the positives, depending on which side of the fence you are, of what's happening with rates right now is rates are always the great equalizer when they get to this point, right? When someone doesn't have the monopoly on low rates anymore and everything's pretty much equal in the playing field. That's when you got to trade on your brand and who you are as an individual and not worry about that, because we've all seen, right? Because people go with higher rates, they go with lower rates, but that's not the end all be all, right? It's great to have, it's a good talking point, but it's not all equal. But now with Zillow and all these other things happening, and the fact that, look, one thing that I've mentioned all the time with, and Dave brought that up in his slide, right? When he looked at, when it had Amazon and Google, and it's not a matter of if, but when, is that you need to understand is that Amazon, Zillow, they could lose hundreds of millions of dollars to buy market share, to have great rates. You cannot. There is no mortgage lender in this business, including Quicken, that can lose that amount of money to buy rates. They just can't, or to buy market share, right? And also understand the consumer experience. There's a reason why we refer to it as the Amazon experience across all verticals, right? So if you think you're going to compete with that, you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. And so Dave is absolutely right. With the mobile device, it's just going to be so much easier to do that, to look at it one stop, have that experience, and also understand that a consumer, and the perfect example is also going back to that slide when Dave showed offer pad, open door, knock, or some of the ones that aren't listed, instant offers, is that, look, consumers are already technically losing money by going to those services because it's a better experience. Something that you guys all need to understand, that consumers throughout history have been shown that they'll pay up to a 25% premium for a better experience, for efficiency, for peace of mind, because time is money and people want to save time and they want to be efficient with it.
So here's the deal, guys. The model has changed. And this is my belief. I'd love to hear your thoughts. This is the model of today. You're doing a little bit of lead development. You're doing a little bit of advice. You're doing a lot of transaction. You're doing a little bit of client for life. And Jason, you and I both know most loan officers' biggest regret is just how ineffective and inconsistent they are with their past customers.
Yep.
And this is the model of the future, where the transaction gets smaller because it's faster, it's easier, it's digital mortgage. That means you need to expand the box on advice. By the way, that's assuming you want to be a referral-based local originator that doesn't have an Amazon price. Assuming you want to be that value-added provider, you need to expand the box on advice, and you need to expand the box on client for life. And by the way, you need to execute both of those more effectively. So one more thought, Jason, and then I want to bring you in. Most loan officers, this is how they deliver that point of sale experience. It's a commodity experience.
Yep.
And by the way, the article I was in the process of writing this weekend, I will probably have that posted on LinkedIn. If you're watching the video and it's posted, I'll put a link down below. I akin this to playing checkers. If you're in the business of, here's my rate and programs, and here's my speed and price, you're playing checkers. And my belief is the mortgage professional of the future needs, again, you got to have speed and price. That's not going away, but you also need to have advice and personal brand. I do believe at Mortgage Coach that no one does that better than we do at helping loan officers, one, learn how to be advisors, and two, deliver that advice-based experience. And Jason, it's becoming more and more clear to me that you are absolutely one of the leaders at helping mortgage professionals build a personal brand. I'm a big fan of Gary Vee. I know you are too. By the way, congrats. I think you're speaking at Agent 2021 coming up.
Yep, absolutely.
So by the way, congrats on that, brother. Thank
you, man. Appreciate it.
That is a nice stage to be on.
Yeah.
But I think, you're doing a great job of, being that Gary Vee in the mortgage space, helping people build personal brand. And again, we try to be very intentional with Mortgage Coach that, when we deliver an experience that it's got the loan officer's personal brand, and then it's got advice. You're not only showing the cost, here's your transaction details, here's your monthly payment details, but then you're showing that cost over time. And that's where you become a trusted advisor. You really become that mortgage pro. So Jason, that's one thing I wanted to do in this interview is I want to get your takeaways for our community on the personal brand piece. Obviously, let's put a mortgage coach, personal branded, total cost instead of a fee worksheet. But what are some of the other things that loan officers need to be intentional about if they want to check that box that I am building my personal brand? What are some of those things, my friend?
Yeah. So just real quick, can you pull up that slide again with the 2020 model? Because I really want people to look at something. And you said the perfect word that I always mention, and that's commodity, right? That red is commodity. It's mechanical functions, right? If you want to know where you're going to make your money, it's in the other three colors, right? The dark blue, light blue, and the green. The client for life.
By the way, I want to insert something. I was very purposeful. The red is the red ocean. Advice is blue ocean.
Yeah.
And client for life is where the money is. That's where the green is. That's where the profits are. So, by the way, I'm glad that you called out the colors, but that was the metaphor that we were going for.
And it's perfect because it's right, because this is the difference between, and this is the perfect example for the total cost analysis annual reviews, which loan officers don't do enough annual reviews in period, let alone using mortgage coach. But you understand that when you have the client for life mentality, that's a difference between wanting a $5,000 deal and $150,000 lifetime value of that client along with their sphere. So focusing on those three things are definitely going to play out well for you. And then also getting back to your chess and checkers is look, every chess player will tell you it's not about the move you make. It's about the move that you make your opponent do on behalf of what you're doing, your strategy. And if you notice, as the mortgage industry, that's what we've been doing the last 5 years, is making all these counter moves based on what other people are doing, right? So we're on the losing end of the chess game, my friends. And so you got to understand that strategy really plays a part. And personal brand is huge. It is absolutely huge in this industry. The difference between having a brand and not is being a commodity or not. Commodities, commodities are gas, right? You could get that anywhere. I could get a mortgage anywhere. I can, right? I could get a mortgage anywhere. But it's the branding. The brand is how I feel about doing business with someone. The brand is like when I say, look, I'm working with Dave Savage. That guy is awesome. He did everything great. He communicated. I would definitely recommend him to everyone. It's creating a raving fan. You can't do that off of a commodity, right? I don't sit there and talk about Chevron or Shell or Exxon or any of that stuff, right? I don't. When we're also dealing with something that people need mortgages, but they don't want them. No one says, I want to be in debt. No one says, I wake up and I want $300,000 of debt, please, right? No one does that. But we have something they need, which is still more powerful. So what you have to do is focus around your brand. And what you start with is asking yourself the questions of like, what is my brand? It's not your logo. It's not your tagline. It's not your flyers or any of that other crap. That's branding. Your brand is, what do other consumers tell other consumers about doing business with you? It's about the emotional response when someone mentions your name. And that you do that by telling a story, right? You do that by understanding what you're for, what you're against, what your why is, right? Now, again, those aren't marketing collaterals to put everywhere, but you got to understand who you are as a loan officer and why you do what you do. And then put that into your branding, because the only thing that's going to keep that lifetime value going is if you're memorable, right? If you're not doing the annual reviews, if you're not giving them a good experience, if you're throwing them a rate sheet that a million other loan officers are doing it instead of meeting them where they need to be, which is mobile, tablet, computer screen, right? Yes, face-to-face and belly-to-belly will always be a thing, but guess what? Screen-to-screen is a thing too now, right? And so you need to have the tools that do that, because not every consumer is going to want to do that. Not every consumer is going to want to meet you and come to your office.
Well, and by the way, here's the other thing, is even when people do want to come meet you and come to your office, that is the best time to get them to download your mobile app. That is the best time to engage them in a relationship that makes their life easier and faster when they leave your office. And by the way, remember, everybody who comes into the office is not everybody. There's a father-in-law that's loaning a down payment that didn't come, who, by the way, he wants his daughter to get a loan with another guy or gal. There's a buddy at work that's a real estate expert that's giving them advice, and he's not in your office. So when that family comes into your office, powerful, engaging, present communication, get them to download your apps, get them to do business with you, so that when they leave, all the stakeholders are in the loop and you're getting value. So I want to run through one more thought, and then let's wrap this up. I've got to have you on our Friday mastermind at some point soon. So let's make sure we plan that out. But here's the deal, guys. You know, personal branding is absolutely essential to your future. And here's the deal. Whether it's personal branding, whether it's your CRM, whether it's mortgage coach, most loan officers already have more technology than they're adopting. And this is my belief, and this is one thing I loved, is Amazon's coming. And by the way, do you think the loan officers that work for Zillow Mortgage and Keller Williams Mortgage and Quicken Loans, are they going to use their CRM? Absolutely. Are they going to deliver this advice-based experience, whatever the company says? Absolutely. And this is where I loved your message. You don't have as much time as you think you do. It's coming quick. You know, like this technology, it's not like 5 years from now. It's like 1 year. It's like by 2020, the industry will be unrecognizable. The amount of technology in the space, the verticals are in the space, all the competitors that have come into the place. So you guys, you need to get your unique value prop down, because as Jason said, people don't get homes, don't get loans because they want loans. They get loans because they want homes, so you need to get your unique value prop down. You need to personally brand. So Jason, anybody that wants to connect with you in the mortgage coach community outside of this call, obviously, if you guys have a question, put it below. If you got a takeaway, give us a like. But what are some other ways that people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you guys could check out my website, which is theagentmarketer.com, the Agent Marketer on Instagram, the Agent Marketer on Facebook. So any one of those, or you could email me at frazier@theagentmarketer.com.
I love that. And when you think of just, personal branding 101, I mean, I personally think that starts with, I use Mortgage Coach. I put my picture in it. I've got a brand. I think everybody's got a Facebook page and you're intentional about it.
Yep.
I think every mortgage professional needs a LinkedIn page and you're professional about it.
Yeah. I would say right now, or next to Facebook, LinkedIn is the number one. If you're a mortgage professional or in real estate, LinkedIn is where it's at. That's going to be a more powerful network. The more that people want to get away from kind of the Facebook political and all the other stuff that happens and just really get business focused. Too many people think of it as just a B2B network, but guess what? Those people sell houses. Those people buy houses, right? Those are the people that you want. You want entrepreneurs, you want business professionals, you want to be in their sphere. So make sure that you're adding, if you're going to be on LinkedIn, do it because it's great SEO value, but also do it because that's where you could prove your thought leadership.
And then, obviously if you're a mortgage professional, I think you want to have Zillow reviews, you want to have Yelp reviews. You want to be intentional about your online reputation. We're both big fans of the social survey guys. We've got lots of clients doing it.
Yeah.
But be intentional. What's one or two other just like checklists that people can just go through and go, oh, okay, I'm on a scale of 7 to 10 there.
Yeah.
What are one or two other things?
Well, one is don't try to do too much, because what will happen is you'll get overwhelmed and then you won't do anything. So start with one, master it, then go on the other. But one that I see the biggest mistake in branding, 100%, is be consistent with your information out there. Don't make it hard for you to find. I can't tell you how many times I go on a LinkedIn and it shows that you are working at a mortgage company that you worked at 5 years ago and haven't worked at since, right? Or your Facebook, there's no phone number or no email address, or Instagram, and you're making it hard. Don't make it hard for people to find you. So part of your brand is your branding, is your communication, is your information that's out there. So audit, make sure that your sites and everything else is consistent, and you need to have a mobile first website. I see it too often. People have their websites. I look on a mobile phone and you can't use it. Guys, 93% use mobile, right? Especially on social. That crowd, 93% mobile usage. Don't worry about the 7% where it looks crappy on desktop. Focus on mobile first.
So I just can't help myself. I got to share my screen one more time. You know, when you're sending that viewer sheet, is that mobile friendly way to deliver an advice experience? Or is a beautiful mortgage coach experience, is that a great way? You know, and to the point I made earlier, whether families coming into your office and they're getting, you know, they're getting you face to face, but they're also downloading your apps. They're also getting this multi-channel experience. That's the way you play, my friends. So hey, Jason, appreciate you. And again, I think you are a change agent in the space. Looking forward to more interviews together. Thank you for always commenting and participating in our Facebook community. If you're on this call and you are not part of the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind, you are missing it. And if you're part of this call and you're not subscribing and tuned into our YouTube channel, I like to think of it as the Netflix for mortgage professionals. The only difference is that you actually make more money from binge watching videos. So any last words of wisdom, my brother?
The only thing I'll leave you with, and this is, I just spoke in an event at Vegas for Commissions Inc., and this is the last thing I'll leave you guys with, and it plays right off of what Dave just ended with, is that when you don't have the time and technology happens a little quicker than not a little, but a lot quicker, is that I want to give you a stat, because everyone talks about Uber and Lyft and taxis and blah, blah, blah. But let me give you something that will really blow your mind, that no one talks about when they want to get specific, is that taxis went from over 80% market share in business travel to under 9% within 5 years, in an industry that they created that has endured for over a century. They lost all of that in 5 years, from 80% to less than 9%. This isn't something that's isolated. There's a reason for that. And if you think that our industry is any different, then you're crazy.
Mic drop. So build a personal brand.
Yep.
Create an advice experience.
Yep.
We still got to pay the speed and price game, but there's never been more options. Hope this was useful for everybody. Really appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely, man.
Take care, everybody. Hope this was valuable. Give us a like, share it with your mortgage friends.